Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Football Palestine Extra, the podcast where we break down everything that's happened this week in Palestinian football and give it to you in this nicely condensed audio-visual format. If you like what you are seeing here or listening to, depending on what platform you are watching us or listening to us on, consider subscribing to Football Palestine because you'll be able to get all the news we put out on the website straight to your inbox. We do a lot of content for free, but then episodes like this one, if you want to listen and watch them in their entirety, you need a premium subscription. So we are running a 40% discount. Consider taking advantage of that to get a paid subscription to Football Palestine and support all the work that we are doing. So lots to talk about this week. A lot of stuff happened in Palestinian football. A lot of stuff happened in football in general that didn't involve Palestine, but was about Palestine. I'm speaking about Lamine Yamal in the midst of Barcelona's title celebrations on Monday afternoon. Saw a Palestinian flag in the crowd, waved at the guy who had it, said, "Bring it here," took it on board Barcelona's bus and paraded it throughout the city. And really a unexpected surprise, but I think something that is indicative of public opinion of people of Lamine Yamal, age group, because he's only 18 going on 19. Incredible player, and I think also indicative of public opinion here in Spain and in Barcelona in particular. We won't really get into what Hansi Flick said. I don't think anyone takes that guy seriously. Honestly, good on him for winning 2 La Liga titles, but, I don't know how long he'll stay. He doesn't even speak Spanish or Catalan, so I don't even know how long he'll stay. And quite frankly, his comments were relatively meaningless. And let's face it, Lamine Yamal is a star. Lamine Yamal is going to do what he wants to do, and right now he's doing the right thing. So all support to Lamine Yamal. And I got to say, huge kudos to everyone who's actually showed solidarity towards the Palestinian cause over these past 3 years or so. I think there's too many to mention. Hakim Ziyech comes to mind. The fans across Africa, particularly North Africa, PSG fans, even ones that aren't so prominent. I think I remember Bangladesh national team also celebrating with the Palestinian national flag. So I also want to give them their flowers. And I think if I stayed here and just said, kudos to all the people, Hector Bellerin in Spain as well has been outspoken. So there's just too many. But obviously Lamine Yamal is a star in his own category and will likely become the consensus best player in the world in the next couple of years, especially as Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo get closer and closer to retirement age. So that's definitely what people have been talking about and focused on this week in Palestinian football. But there's other things that have happened. We've got Palestinian players winning titles in Europe, in Africa. So we got to talk about that. And we have the little small matter of this Asian Cup draw that was held over the weekend. So we'll talk about that as well. That'll be the first thing we get into. And also friendlies. We finally have friendlies scheduled for June and a national team training camp slated for Qatar. So we will get into that as well. And if we have time at the end, we'll do a little bit of Q&A as well. Reminder to everyone, hey, if you want to submit a question, go to our chat on Substack, send me a question, it'll get answered, or just send me a question over social media on any one of our accounts, and we will answer it at the end of every episode. So let's get to it. Let's talk about this draw. Asian Cup draw happened over the weekend. We streamed it live here on Football Palestine. And I guess the question is on everyone's mind is this an easy draw or is this a difficult draw? What does it mean? How far can Palestine go? Okay, for those of you who have missed it, the draw was as follows. Group A, in position A1, we knew that there was going to be Saudi Arabia. Kuwait was the first team out of the pot, given that they were the pot 4 team. They went into A2. Right after that, after they went through all the pot 4 teams, came the pot 3 teams. Palestine was a pot 3 team. Palestine was drawn. We sort of waited. Are we going to play the opening match? Are we going to play the opening match? We are playing the opening match. We got drawn into A4, and then Oman rounded out that group. So, is it a difficult group or is it an easy group? I would say if you think this is a difficult group, it is a difficult group because Palestine is in it. And I think if you look at the pot 3 teams, Palestine would be the one team you would want to avoid from the pot 3 teams. Because, yeah, there are a lot of other good teams in there. The likes of Thailand, the likes of Vietnam, Bahrain is in there. Tajikistan is in there. And I believe that's everyone. Is that 6 teams? Anyway, I might be forgetting one, but Palestine, I think, is the strongest. I'm not saying that because I'm biased. I think it's, if you kind of look at just what they did in World Cup qualifying, there is evidence there to back that up that Palestine was the strongest of the bunch. And then if you look at pot 4 as well, we have to give them their due. Kuwait, you could make an argument for them being also the strongest in pot 4, given what they did in World Cup qualifying, given the fact that they were in round 3. And if you look at the other pot 4 teams, yeah, the winner of Lebanon and Yemen is a strong team. But everybody else, more or less, yeah, I guess Korea DPR, you can make an argument because they were also in round 3. Indonesia got the furthest. You can make an argument for them. But I think Kuwait comes with just this extra level of pedigree, given their history and given the fact that now it seems like their football association will spare no expense to try and get them back to where they were. And if you think about it, Indonesia, Korea DPR, they're not going to have kind of what amounts to a home field advantage, right? The Kuwaitis, if they want to, and I think they will, they'll travel in strong numbers to this tournament. This is their first Asian Cup since 2015. So it has been a while for them. And I think they will show up and they will have something that amounts to, I wouldn't say a home field advantage because this is a very regionalized group. There are 4 Arab teams, 3 of them from the Gulf. Oman will travel in strong numbers, and obviously Saudi will have their home fans backing them. But, Kuwait, I think, would have been also a team that people would have wanted to avoid from pot 4. The teams from the first 2 pots, there's an argument to be made that they're actually the weakest. And by the FIFA rankings, Saudi Arabia is the weakest pot 1 team. They're a pot 1 team because they're the host. Otherwise, they would have been in pot 2. Oman, aside from Syria, is the weakest team, given where they are in the FIFA rankings, in pot 2. So it is difficult because of the nature of the pot 3 and pot 4 team, I would say. But we're the pot 3 team. So, looking up, we should be happy that we got not one of, I think, the stronger teams in Asia as a pot 1 team. All due respect to Saudi Arabia's history, I don't think that's where they are right now. I think they're a bit of a mess, to be honest with you. And Oman is, Oman, I think, is a team that we are capable of beating and that we match up well against. And we know very well, if I had to guess, like that game will probably end in a draw because we know each other very well. And yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the game ended in a draw. Where Palestine might have an advantage is the fact that all the other teams in this group have a new coach. Georgios Donis has not met with his players yet. I guess they'll meet next week once the Saudi League is over and done with. And he'll start to get to know his players a little bit more intimately, at least those that he hasn't coached before. Tariq Sekuti, I think he had one window with the Omani national team. I do believe they were able to play in March. And even Elio Sousa of Kuwait is relatively new. All that being said, though, it is crazy to think that Ihab Abu Jazar, whose first game was in March of 2025, is the most tenured manager of the group. But this also happened at the last Asian Cup, I believe, as well, where Makram Daboub was the most tenured manager because Iran had just hired Amir Galanoy after the World Cup, and the UAE had just hired Paulo Bento as well. And I do believe that Mekram was there for a longer period of time than the Hong Kong coach as well. So I think that will help Palestine. The fact that they have momentum from their last tournament as well, which, by the way, the last tournament was an Arab Cup. And this is why I say it is a tough group, because Palestine is in it. Because given the nature of this group, 4 Arab teams, and given the fact that Palestine is in it, look at the last Arab Cup. Kuwait fell at the group stage. Oman fell at the group stage, largely because they couldn't beat Saudi. By the way, they lost again to Saudi. Saudi Arabia and Palestine met in the quarterfinal. It went to extra time. That was a weakened Palestine side, by the way. It was only, a couple controversial calls here and there from going to penalty kicks. And then in penalty kicks, who knows what would have happened, right? So I think you get a sense that Palestine is well prepared for the challenge here. That is not to say it will be easy for Palestine either. I think you're talking about a challenge that is tough because there will be no surprises here. Kuwait and Oman know Palestine very well, courtesy of having played them in World Cup qualifying. Saudi Arabia knows Palestine very well as well. So there's no surprises. And, chances are these games are going to be hard fought. They're going to be decided by the odd goal. And that odd goal is probably going to be the 1-0. So I can see a lot of 1-0s, 1-1s, 0-0s playing out in this group. And a lot of it's just going to depend on who has momentum coming into the tournament. So we will pick up this discussion as we get closer to the Asian Cup. We have the small matter of a World Cup to be played, which is obviously very relevant for 9 of the 24 teams that are going to be playing at this Asian Cup. So it's not going to get a lot of attention. It will get more attention once we get past the World Cup, once we sort of get past that September-October window, and then we'll start thinking about the Asian Cup. Interesting to note, though, we did not get any details about this Asian Nations League either. So I'm not sure if that's actually happening. And we're also not 100% sure if the WAF Championship, which, by the way, was last held all the way back in August of 2019, will actually be held in Oman. They said, yes, we're going to do it in Oman. We're going to have all 12 teams participate for the first time ever. Let's see. We haven't even been told a format of like what that would look like. Would it be groups of 3 teams, so 4 groups of 3 teams, and then a semifinal final? Or would it be 2 groups as they did in 2019? Or would it be 3 groups of 4 teams? With the best second place team also going to the semifinals? We don't know any details regarding the WAF Championship, nor the Asian Nations League, which was a new competition that was announced at the end of 2025. And everybody said, oh yeah, once the World Cup is over, this is going to be launched. We have no idea. And the reason why I bring both those tournaments up is I think probably the most logical thing to do is to just like fold a lot of these regional tournaments into a Nations League type format, because I just don't see how you can replicate the UEFA Nations League in such a vast continent. But, it was all speculation right now. We have no idea what is going on because the AFC has not shared any details with us. So yeah, watch the space. We'll keep you updated as we get more information. Now, shifting gears, Palestinians abroad. We have to congratulate Hamid Hamdan. Why? Because he's the Egypt Cup champion. We have to congratulate Khalid Abou Alheja. Why? Well, because he won. I can't really say that he won promotion to the 3rd tier, but Nuremberg's reserve side won their league, which would typically mean that they would be going up to the 3rd division. Due to various administrative issues, they're actually, they said thanks, but no thanks to the promotion. So the reserve side will continue in the 4th tier of German football. But I do think that this is a huge opportunity for Khalid Abou Alheja. I think he will actually be with the first team for preseason next year. That's how good he's been for the reserve side. And even if maybe things don't work out in the first team and they don't want to take him, I could envision him maybe just saying, hey, listen, let me go to another club. He's obviously, I think, put together a really good season. He's actually captained the reserve side on multiple occasions. And I do think he's going to get a chance in preseason when that gets underway right after the World Cup or just at the tail end of July there. And last but not least, Asad Al-Hamnawi, congratulations on winning the Romanian Cup. Inshallah, it'll be a double because Universitatea Craiova is still in the running for the league title. They're top of the table. Speaking of titles, Odeid Debbar, first leg against USM Alger did not go as planned. Late goal there, giving the Algerians the advantage, a 1-0 advantage to take with them to Cairo. Before that goal was scored, which I believe was from the penalty spot, there was a goal ruled out. It was Odeid Debbar's goal, but they said there was a foul in the build-up, and so that goal got chalked off. Tomorrow they will meet, and so hopefully we'll be in a situation where we will be congratulating Odeid Debbar on his CAF Confederations Cup title. And once they finish up with that, focus then turns on May 20th. Just a draw. All they need is a draw, and they'll be crowned Egyptian League champions. Obviously, if Pyramids loses on the weekend, they'll be crowned champions before they actually step onto the pitch. So exciting times for Palestine players, and really important, I think, that they get into the habit of winning things, get in the habit of playing in pressure situations, because that's just going to have a great knock-on effect when they join up with the national team. If these guys are winners at club level and they bring that experience with them, with the mentality this group has, I think the sky really is the limit. So, okay,